guys. Sorry about that. Um, but anyway, that's what I'm thinking at the moment. Let's take a look at a couple other things. So we have gold stabbing at the 1220 level. Um, I'm not really too sure if that's gonna break out, but gold's been staging a pretty nice move. You've got you've got silver that's obviously still trying to break out. If you saw the charts from yesterday, we've got a nice little wedge break to the upside. Crude oil. Crude oil actually weakened pretty good yesterday, and it got the snot slapped out of it yesterday. And what we just did is we just retested its breakdown point. So I don't know if you guys saw this. So here's crude, right? Crude broke down, and it just on the hourly charts just retested its breakdown point. It's trying to roll a little bit here, but keep your eye on some of these commodities, because there's a lot of people getting very bullish gold, getting very bullish silver, and if you look at gold, gold is stronger. Relative strength is diverging, and we're knocking our head up against some really key resistance here. So, and you can see right up again at the 1220 level, 1225. So, if we stall here, all that's going to do is produce a nice bullish move in the dollar if gold starts to come down. Hey, pound. Did pound just hit new highs? Pound did hit new highs, didn't it? It's pound strong. The cable, and I know we're going to go through all this analysis here in just a bit, but the pound, just so you guys, I mean, I know I've been showing you this chart for a long time, so, but we're closing in on some pretty key resistance here. 50% retracement, right? And then also previous support. You can see it on the daily charts. Comes in a little bit better. Okay, previous support all through here. Real high traffic zone. Lows, highs, 50% retracement. It's all coming into play. But the pound looks like we could stretch up there, and that's why if I look at the pound, I go, we can really try to make another stab higher, which is making me hesitant about shorting the euro at this point too. All right, guys and gals, let me see if I can take a few questions this morning. And let's see. Patrick, good morning. Patrick says 38.2% from July for the dollar. Let's take a look at the dollar. The dollar index from July. Now, I was closely, this is an hourly chart, and you can actually see the 4-hour chart. I was monitoring this wedge. Can't really rule out the wedge just yet. If we get a spike up on this 4-hour chart, all it would be is a stab lower and then bounce. But look at the horizontal support. You see this right here? That's back in February. So you're saying going back from July. Going back to July, let's go over to a daily. This would be easier to see. Wrong way. From July, 38%. Well, I don't know if I would look at that low. I'd actually go back to probably the May low. So because we're not quite at a 38% yet. Because that comes in at the 92.50 level, or 92, right around the, shoot, get rid of that. Okay, that's going to be that breakout point, which I think can be tested. I really think can be tested. So at the 92.50 level, that's also a 38% retracement. That was a wedge breakout over here. You're measuring from over here in July. You got to take, I think, the absolute low, which we're not even quite there yet, but we're getting there, Patrick. We're closing in on it, getting close. Dollar's getting close to some really key levels that probably need to be bought. Lloyd says, I'm getting a message that log on muted by organizer. Yes, Lloyd, you're going to be muted. I can't unmute 2,000 people every day. Could you imagine the chaos if we all were talking at once? It just can't happen. So yes, you are muted on my webinar because I can't unmute you. I tried to do it one time. It just doesn't, you know. Could you imagine the chaos, Lloyd? Patrick says cable gets more extended. Seems like the flags get less steep. Peeps got to buy dips faster. Running out of gas. As far as the cable goes, let's see. Let's see about any of the flags here. All these like hourly flags is what you're talking about. Yeah, I mean, it is running out of momentum as we're closing in on key resistance. But the trick is here, Patrick, is trying to figure out exactly where that high is, and I still think it's somewhere slightly above where we're at right now. Now, again, would I consider shorting the cable? I would, but I've got to start to see a turn. We got to start to see some technical turns in like the dollar index, the euro dollar. Give me some good 4-hour developments, maybe a good daily chart, and I might nibble a little bit. I tried. Oh, by the way, I did try shorting the cable yesterday. I did short the cable at 42, and I put my stops at like 71. It was a third size position. I got stopped out overnight. It's like, yeah, I still feel that the cable's strong on the crosses, Andy says, good morning, Blake. Still my euro short and not hoping anymore. Laugh out loud. Confident it will break very soon. All right. Thomas says, good morning, Blake. Hope all is well. Hope all is well with you. Gary says, Blake, living in Oz, economy is in slow motion. And when the Aussie dollar falls, it will be hard and fast, as will the Kiwi. Central banks want them lower also. They say don't fight the bankers. That's right, Gary. You don't want to fight the central banks, and the RBA and the RBNZ really want to engineer a lower exchange rate because I mean, let's call a spade a spade. It's a currency war, and that's indeed what it is right now. It's a currency war, and they want to engineer a lower exchange rate on both of those fronts. And I believe the RBNZ is probably at this point in time the most impatient with their strong currency. And a lot of that has to do with commodity prices where they're at right now. But if we start to see crude, which I still think crude is closer to a near-term high than a low, and if crude starts to roll over, I think you're going to see some of these precious metals come down. I think the commodity currencies will probably suffer as a result. Patrick says, euro dollar 15-minute rising wedge. Yeah, and right in the trend line too here, Patrick. But again, don't forget this for a second. I mean, you can take that little rising wedge there if you want, but think about it from more of a wait for the data. We got an hour. You got an hour to kind of, stand aside. Wait for the data to come out. I'm not, I don't know if the data, is going to be necessarily dollar supportive. That's the whole reason why I'm not even trying to short the euro at this moment. I want to see supportive data with today's producer prices and even weekly unemployment claims. All right, guys. Hey, I'm going to put you on hold for just a minute. When I come back, we will go through the bias chart. So don't go anywhere. Back in a few moments.